This is the Mannin Line on location.
Faster Mai, good afternoon. Welcome to Mannin Line on location today in Ramsey on Lazaire Road with the students of Ramsey Grammar School. Now, it's the policy of Mannin Line to get to the people who are able to vote. And obviously, the students can't get to the phone during Mannin Line normally, so we give them the opportunity 2 times a year to chat about their lives, what they think of the world, what they think of Ramsey, the north of the Isle of Man, politics, anything they want to talk about. All the subjects have been brought up by the students themselves, and we're with Daisy and Callum and Charlie and Emily and Jemima and Evella and Rosie. And we're live from Ramsey right now. Evella, is that right?
Yes.
Evella.
Yes.
Now, and this is your sister next to you, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And how much older are you than your sister?
I'm actually younger by 2 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And do you drive?
No, not currently. I haven't started learning yet.
Okay. Do you want to learn to drive?
Yes, I want to start learning after I turn 17.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And you were telling me, do you do sport?
I do some sports inside school, so like netball and hockey. I used to do throughout the younger years, but now not as much.
Okay. And do you have much of a social life? Do you live in Ramsey?
I actually live in Jerby East, so between Jerby and between Andreas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the social life like in Jerby East? Is there much going on?
No, not really. It's very tranquil, so it's like there's not many people that live around us.
Yeah.
We're quite secluded, I guess. But I do go into Ramsey quite often just to meet up with my friends and have the social aspect there.
Okay. And are you heading to, what year are you in? Are you in the last year or second to last?
I'm currently in year 12,
in
so
year
second
12.
to last.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts of university at all?
I would quite like to go to university, but currently I'm unsure on what I want to do, what I want to pursue, and all these aspects.
Okay, Jemima's here as well. Jemima, is it true they've changed the name, the motto, is it, for Ramsey Grammar School?
Yeah, so it used to be Nil Amanti Difficile, which was nothing is too difficult for an enthusiast, and now it's, I think, Invest, Believe, Achieve together.
Invest, Believe, so it's gone from Latin to English.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't it used to be, was it on the blazer, or it was on the badge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on like the top of the badge. I think it still might be, yeah, but they've just changed it on other things.
And how did that come about?
Well, when the new head teacher came in, I remember we had things go around forms and we got asked, do you want to change the motto? I know our form wasn't that keen on it because we've just had it for 5 years. We were in year 11 at that point. But I guess other people wanted to.
Right, okay. So it's all changed. Are you, so which year are you in?
I'm in year 12.
Okay, so any thoughts on university yet, or is that too far away?
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about it. I would quite like to go to uni. I think to do psychology, but that could change.
Any thoughts on a career?
Potentially either into psychology or law.
Okay. Emily's with us as well. You sing, don't you?
Yeah, so I sing in the school band, The Enthusiast. It's a blues band, so we do more sort of blues-based music.
Okay, and is the band okay? Is it any good?
I think pretty good,
Yeah?
I would say. So we've had quite a few gigs. We played at Tynwald, which was on Tynwald Day, which was quite fun.
They're called The Enthusiasts.
Yeah, The Enthusiasts.
How many people in the band?
Well, we have like a whole brass section, so we have 3 trumpets, and then we have a trombone and 2 tubas, and then we have 3 guitarists and then 2 bassists.
How do you all fit on the stage?
It's a struggle. Like we've done like little gigs here at school, and we have to put the brass section in a different section to everybody else because there's just not space.
When's the next gig?
We had one last Saturday that I wasn't at because I was working, but
Right.
That was at Moran School, I think, and then I think we might have some in March.
Which year are you in?
I'm in year 12.
You're in year 12 as well. And you said you were working. What's your job? What do you do?
I work as a waitress.
Okay. Can you say where?
Yeah, I work at the Raven in Bath.
Okay. Do you think it's important to get employment experience, or is it just the money?
I mean, for me, I think it's really good to just like have like the social aspect of it, like learning how to deal with people and stuff is really important. Just like soft skills like that, I think is really good, just for like career-wise later as well.
Have you ever been surprised by a badly behaved customer?
I mean, at TT, we end up with a lot of people in because obviously it's right on the circuit. So you have a lot of people stay for the entire day. Yeah. So you hear things.
Yes. And they get tired and emotional.
Yeah.
By the end. How do you cope with that?
I don't know. I think I'm quite good with people, and like the staff there are so lovely. So if you get really overwhelmed, then they're not opposed to you taking a break for 15 minutes and just like.
Do you remember how you reacted to your first experience during TT with that amount of work?
I think I just went home and took a nap afterwards. It was a lot, but I think it's quite fun, and especially when you're like trying to like develop language skills because you've got German and French and Austrian people like sort of all in the same place. It's really cool. Okay, and the Raven's still fun, is it? Yeah, definitely. Good. Charlie's on as well. You're in year 13, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
So university?
Yep, hopefully this year. Yep, September.
Do you know where you're going?
Yeah, I've applied and I'm hoping to go to Exeter for politics and management.
It's halfway to France. It's miles away.
Yeah.
So you want to do what was it again?
Politics and management.
Okay, with a view to doing what, Charlie?
Ooh, hopefully in politics. So it's not, it's not nailed down, but something in British politics. Yeah.
Such as what?
So that could be anything. I'm probably looking more, I don't know, less civil service. So something more, I don't know. It could be
elected
analyst.
Representative.
It could be an MP.
Researcher.
Could be. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Charlie, what's your view of the result of the American election?
Well, that's I think it could be expected. The polls said that he was going to win in the run-up, so I don't know. I think the Democrats also had a hindered run-up with Joe Biden only resigning halfway through. Do you think they made a mistake in because obviously Joe Biden was? I don't think it's right for me to comment on the. Well, you can now because result of an election. It's gone. It's finished. But I mean, you reckon the Democrats were hindered by that? Yeah, I mean, the fact that Joe Biden only resigned halfway through the run-up to the election, But yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on Mr. Trump at all? I mean, I suppose we'll have to see. There's his first term. You can draw your own conclusion, I think. Okay. We've got raised eyebrows all the way around. Callum, did you watch the American election closely?
I did, yeah. I thought Kamala Harris was going to win, and I was very shocked when Trump won.
Why did you think she was going to win?
I didn't think Americans would vote for Donald Trump again after his first term and like everything that happened during COVID. Right. I mean, were you surprised by that? You obviously were, but why were you surprised that? Because as Charlie said, the polls were showing that he was going to win. I don't know. You can't put too much stock in polls, so I didn't think. And they were like 50-50 the whole way through, pretty much. So you're heading to university, are you? In September. Where will you go? Lancaster. I want to do law. And of course, next to you is Daisy, and you're heading to where is it?
Lancaster.
To do
law.
So after sitting next to Callum in Lazaire Road, you'll be in a lecture room in Lancaster with him.
Yes.
What are you hoping to do? Is the law degree leading to anything?
Well, I hopefully want to practice law. That would be maybe in the Isle of Man. That's kind of the aim. I'm not sure what branch I want to go into yet, whether it's family or criminal. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm hopefully going to find out when I'm there.
Why law, though? Why does that appeal to you?
Well, law's always been, it's going to sound quite cheesy, but I've always had that in my mind ever since a very young age. I've picked my GCSEs based off of what I wanted, off of law, and I base picking my A-levels off of it as well. I also find it very, an interesting subject to look at. I've done, quite a lot of extra reading on it. I just think it is a great career that I would want to pursue.
Okay. Rosie's with us as well. Hi, Rosie.
Hi.
And sitting next to her sister as well.
Yeah.
So university may be a year and a bit away. Is it something you're thinking about?
I'm thinking of university. Again, I don't really know what I want to pursue. At the moment, I'm studying biology, psychology, and sociology. So something possibly along the biological route, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. What's late gates?
Okay, so the late gates is teachers around school grounds, and if you are late for registration, which is 8:45,
right.
Then they talk to you and you have to go to the main hall at that break time. And then if you've got good enough reason, I think they just let you go.
So they have teachers patrolling to make sure everybody turns up on time.
Yeah.
Was there a problem with punctuality?
I think maybe a small problem about from punctuality aspect, but I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been late to school, so.
Good, all that way from Derby East. What's the rule on phones at Ramsey Grammar School?
So I think it was at the beginning of this year, phones have there's a complete ban on it, so nobody's allowed to take their phone out in lesson. So for technology in lessons, you can use iPads, computers. However, the sixth formers in their sixth form lounge, when they're doing their study sessions, they can use their phones.
So you can bring your phone in, but it has to be where?
So I think you can just keep it in your bag off,
right.
And if you want to communicate with your parents, then you go to the office to talk to them.
Okay. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that it definitely is helpful for concentration aspects in lessons, and it's good to try and develop skills outside of Googling stuff every 20 minutes or using your phone. However, I think there's also positives of having your phone there, because you've gotten so used to it now, it's kind of difficult to kind of
Well, I mean, you're a generation that's grown up with mobile phones. You've never known the fact that there's not a mobile phone. So does that discipline, I mean, is it an easy discipline for you not to use your mobile phone?
I think it's definitely challenging. I feel like I end up spending more time on my phone at home now.
Right.
But I feel like it is manageable. I'm not struggling that much with it.
Do you use social media much?
I do use social media, yeah.
What are you on, Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, yet to get onto Facebook.
TikTok?
No, I don't use TikTok.
Okay. Do you post on Instagram or just look?
Yeah, I post to close friends, and then I spend most of my time looking at other posts.
Who's the most famous person that you follow?
Ooh, I don't know, celebrities.
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, Zendaya, I'm not sure. There's a whole list. Okay,
your sister's next to you. Do you go on social media at all?
Yeah, so I have Instagram, I have Facebook, and I also have Snapchat, and yeah.
Okay, and be honest, how many hours a day are you on social media?
I feel like social media does consume a lot of my screen time, so I think maybe about 3 hours. It depends on the day, because if it's a weekend or if I'm not going out much, then I'm more likely to spend more time. But I do quite like watching TV or watching series on the laptop and stuff. So if I want to go on technology, I do that.
Do you have a Netflix subscription?
Yeah, so I'm on a family Netflix subscription.
Amazon Prime?
Yes, and Disney.
And Disney.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch any ordinary television?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes the weekends at the morning films that are on. There's not a specific channel that I go on, but I do watch the usual TV.
Do you get homework? How much homework do you get?
Well, I don't actually get that much homework, I don't think. It's obviously for sixth form, you have to do a lot. You do have to do some work outside of school, but actual homework for the next lessons, I don't think it's a lot of work. They're all quite manageable, I would say.
Jemima's there. Are you on social media, Jemima?
Yeah, I have Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
And do you post or do you just look?
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram I post. Yeah, just same as Rosie, to kind of close friends.
Okay, and the no phones policy here is obviously there were phones allowed before and now no phones. How is that policed and how do obviously people can get around it if they want?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just policed by teachers around the corridors and stuff, and if they see you on your phone, it gets confiscated. Or there may be a warning system, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's quite a hard thing, because I think there are positives and negatives of phones out. I think the contacting parents home is quite a hard one, to have to go to the office if you have to. But I do also think it was a bit of an issue of people on their phones quite a lot. Even in some lessons during GCSE, people would be on their phones.
there's obviously good aspects about social media, but also some negative aspects about social media. What are your thoughts on? Because if you're on those social platforms, you must sometimes see things that you don't like.
Yeah, occasionally I do, and if I do, I try to block it or report it. For the most part, I just try and follow people that kind of have the same morals and things like that as I do, and so most of the time I don't see things I don't like, but when it occasionally happens, I try to deal with it.
Okay, well, I'm assuming everybody here is well adjusted and intelligent, which obviously everybody is. But some people aren't, Jemima. Some people get sucked into social media, and there's the bad side of social media. I mean, how can that be combated? Who's to do something about that?
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult question, because obviously social media and the internet is just such a big thing. It's quite hard to control. I mean, I know Instagram recently put a new teen policy on that controls stuff like that slightly, I think. But yeah, it's quite hard, because I think here, people like the government here, I don't know how much influence they'd have on social media. And I think it's hard because it definitely does have its positives.
Oh, I'll tell you, none. They wouldn't have any. I mean, those big companies in Southern California wouldn't take any notice of any government, really.
Yeah.
So that's just something that, again, your generation has to get around. And you are that generation that's grown up with social media and mobile phones and tablets and being accessible all the time. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting we'll come back in 30 years' time and talk to you about it. Let me go to sitting next to you is Emily. You said there's a vape shop opened up in Ramsey, is that right?
Yeah, they've just opened a vape shop in Ramsey.
Right. Wasn't there one before?
I don't know. I'm not particularly interested myself. So.
No. I mean, you see people around vaping, though, don't you?
Yeah, even at school.
But I mean, and again, a lot of people who are older than you wonder why young people vape. Because vaping was supposed to be, electronic cigarettes was supposed to be a route out of smoking for older people. Now it seems that it's a route into smoking for younger people.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes from peer pressure, like just general, if everybody's doing it, then I've got to join in too, sort of thing, and it's so upsetting to see.
It's against the rules here, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, completely. They get confiscated if they're on school grounds at all.
Right. And obviously people are... And of course, you can smell them.
Yeah.
Strawberry. It's usually strawberry, isn't it?
All sorts, I suppose.
So you've never vaped?
No.
No. But, I mean, obviously I'm not asking you to name people, but you will know people who do vape.
Yeah, of course. But I guess that's just different type of groups of people do different things.
But will they know that it's a health hazard?
I think all of them know that it's not great for them, but once you get sucked in, I suppose a lot of people find addiction is a real big issue. So
yeah, okay. Charlie, what do you think about the vape shop opening in Ramsey?
I wouldn't know. I mean,
you're not a vapor.
I'm not a vapor. No, I've never owned a vape or anything.
Yeah.
Never bought.
It is a problem for lots of parents tear their hair out about it because some younger people seem obsessed with vaping and want to vape.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoke to some people. Actually, I remember this one person I had a great big conversation about, and it was funny. And it was funny that actually they hid it from their parents that they did it. And I thought, how can you do that? Surely it's so obvious. Actually, the flavors, the smells that it's emitting, but. I don't know. People do it. People hide it, and especially now the vaping bill. Now it's illegal to provide under 18s, or is it? Yeah, under 18s.
Yeah.
But people still get them, one way or another.
Callum, what's your thoughts on vaping?
I don't think it's good that a vape shop's opened up in Ramsey, but I think it's probably inevitable. But it's happened because, is it called Juul, the company? It's been marketed towards children and people 14, 15, and so
you see, governments, if we'd been having this conversation 50 years ago, there would have been a problem about people smoking cigarettes in the bike sheds here. So young people have always smoked.
Yeah, it's just the same thing.
It's just nowadays, but we thought people thought that it had gone because cigarettes are so expensive and they're obviously bad for your health.
Yeah.
But it hasn't. It's resurfaced in vaping in younger people.
Yeah, they've just created a different outlet.
Yeah. Daisy, what do you think anybody can do about vaping?
Well, I think it's very difficult to manage and police, one for a better term, especially in schools, because there's so many young people that have older brothers, older sisters, or even sometimes parents that are buying these for their children or for their younger siblings. We didn't
mention that. Obviously, lots of adults do vape, don't they?
Yeah, lots do. I think I pass probably a lot of people in the street when I'm walking about that. A lot do vape, yes. Because I think it's become more popular because it is seen as a less harmful version of smoking, but there isn't enough research to fully confirm that yet.
And that's the thing, they don't know actually what's in these things, do they?
No, the chemicals that are in there, people can't even probably pronounce them, let alone actually understand what they are.
Now, you're what used to be called head girl, aren't
yes,
you?
I am.
What are you?
I'm head student.
Head student. Does that involve any, do you represent discipline in any way?
Well, not particularly. I mean, I'm kind of strictly I'm supposed to, but I mainly do outside of school events. Like on Sunday, I was at the Holocaust Memorial Service and I did a speech there, and I basically just represent Ramsey Grammar School in the public.
Was anything said about Holocaust Memorial in school? Was there any?
Yes, our deputy head of year, Miss Lewis, who's also a history teacher, she did an assembly on the Holocaust Memorial, and we watched a video that she found and had us have a think about that event.
How did you find that?
Very moving. As it's the 80th anniversary, I think it's very important to remember what happened back 80 years ago, and it's very important for us to understand what the persecution was for the Jewish people and other groups.
Okay, we're live at Ramsey Grammar School. We're going to be back in just a few moments' time on Mannin Line.
We interrupt this broadcast to inform all our listeners about the huge range of bathrooms and showers on display at Pacesetter. Yes, you all know that Pacesetter is known as the island's largest tile store, but I'm here to tell you that their bathroom displays are truly inspirational. Visit Pacesetter on Harris Terrace, where you'll discover a fabulous collection of stylish bathrooms. There's something to suit everyone, with design available. Pacesetter bathrooms and showers to show off about.
With EPS coatings. Your house could be looking as good as the day it was painted for 10 years. Guaranteed. Whatever the Manx weather brings. The revolutionary Protect system from EPS Coatings. Ultimate protection for your home. Guaranteed for 10 years. Book now for next spring and get 10% off. And keep your house beautiful for longer. Call EPS on 627 191.
Isn't it time to treat your home to something special? The Lifestyle Furniture Winter Sale is now on, and it's our biggest yet. Pop in, grab a delicious free coffee, and enjoy amazing savings on absolutely everything. From sumptuous sofas, luxurious beds, dining, living furniture, and so much more. Discover a wonderland of one-off winter offers throughout our showroom. See our website for opening times. The Winter Sale at Lifestyle Furniture. It's everything your home's been waiting for.
This is the Mannin Line on location.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Live from Ramsey Grammar School with the students in years 12 and 13. And Jemima, I've been told to speak to you about Donald Trump. Is that right?
Yeah, I personally am not a fan at all.
Okay, just tell me why.
I just think it's so concerning, all his policies and his personality. He was a convicted felon. He had the stuff he does and stands for, in my opinion, is outrageous.
Particularly what?
Well, he's very... He's, racist, transphobic, against homophobic, I think. Just a lot of things he stands for are completely opposite.
What about when he says drill, baby, drill?
Yeah.
Going for oil and gas in America.
Yeah. I mean, I know people have different opinions on the climate, but I do always find it quite annoying when it's older generations that say that, because no offence to them, but they're not going to be around when there's impact on the climate. Because for them, it's like, well, Donald Trump is quite old and he won't be around to see the outcome of what he does.
Okay, so what's your view on, we've got a potential onshore wind turbine in the south of the Isle of Man, and on the east coast, in fact, from Laxey upwards to Ramsey Bay, wind turbines out at sea. What do you think about that? Because you'd have to be looking at them.
Yeah. I think it's a hard one, because on one hand, I think it's great that it's renewable energy and it's not oil or gas, but it is slightly concerning because obviously it's a lovely view, and which we have a bunch of wind turbines on. But yeah, it's a hard one because it's got both sides to it.
Emily, what do you think about the potential of wind turbines around and on the Isle of Man?
I mean, is it going to be a problem for like fishing and stuff, or
Well, it depends on who you believe, because everybody seems to have a different opinion on that. The fact is, we actually don't know. And Jemima's point's is very apposite. It's very correct in that I'm not going to be here, but you will be here.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose a lot of it is up to our generation to make sure that, the world that we're going to be living in, our children are going to be living in, their children are going to be living in, is a place where, they can function without worrying about, climate change in general. I think it's really important that we look out for the next generations, because the older generations haven't, put that extra foot forward to make sure that our lives are going to be as really, helpful when it comes to our sustainability.
And the other point is, you'll be paying for it, Emily. Your taxes will be
exactly.
will be paying for that in the future. So after university, will you be staying? Will you be coming back to the Isle of Man? Will you be staying?
I mean, I want to study psychology, and I think that I want to be a cognitive behavioural therapist, and I think that that's always work that's going to be needed.
Stop.
I'll be back here.
What's a cognitive behavioural therapist?
It's so CBT is essentially sitting and talking therapy. You talk through things with your therapist, and they help you, come up with ways to deal with stress or any other sort of things that you're going through.
Okay. Do you like living on the Isle of Man?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I mean, because lots of people, when students split into two camps, if you like. When they go across to the UK, some people love the idea of the UK and love the big cities and what have you, and lots of people hate it. They come back sometimes within the first term and come back to the Isle of Man, never to go away again. What do you think you'll do?
I mean, to be a behavioural therapist, you most likely have to have a doctorate. So I'm going to be in the UK for quite a while for university, and I think getting lots of experience over there is really great, because there's obviously so many more people and so many more opportunities. But settling down wise, I probably want to come back here when I'm a bit older.
What led you to that? To the choice of that CBT?
So I've always sort of, especially through COVID, when people were sort of trying to better themselves mentally after having no socializing sort of thing, I just thought it was so important to work through those things and have somebody there for you to help you
Does the school help with career advice? I mean, did they give you any advice on choice of universities? Or
Mr. Curran is very he's always there to talk about when it comes to university choices and things if you want to go into medicine or you want to go to Cambridge or Oxford. He's very much
that's the head of sixth form, isn't it?
Yeah. He's very much there to help you through those sort of things.
He's been here forever, hasn't he?
He's been here a while, from what I'm aware. Yeah.
Now, I was going to talk to Charlie. You were talking about politics.
Yes.
Did we talk, because you were on the show last year as well, did
That's
we talk
right,
about Manx politics this time last year?
Yeah.
I think, did I ask you to name some Manx politicians?
Possibly. You could have done.
Who's the Chief Minister?
Alf Cannon.
Okay.
No.
Can you name any other Manx politicians?
MHKs. I could name David Ashford. I could.
Who are the Ramsey MHKs?
Laurie Hooper and Dr. Allenson.
Okay. Have you either met have you met any of them?
Yeah. Well, I did. I did work experience in Tynwald, but it was only a week's worth. But I sort of bumped into a few MHKs there. I'm sure we'll have seen them.
And what did you do in Tynwald?
So at Tynwald, I sat in on a sitting in the House of Keys. I sat just behind where the Speaker sits with Hansard there. I sat in on, I forgot what it's called now, but I sat in on essentially a grilling of the health department.
Yeah. Okay.
But I did some work. I did a bit of just data inputting from some responses that a school had put So saying what the school kids would like to see in Tynwald.
Okay. Daisy, what do you know about Manx politics?
I know a fair bit. Obviously, I'm probably slightly less in the know than a few people, but I do know a fair bit.
Can you name any politicians apart from the ones that have been named?
Yes, I can name Claire Christian, MHK. I used to work for her.
Doing what?
She owned a clothing store called Claire Christian Couture, and I was her Saturday girl. So I worked
that was on
for her.
Victoria Street.
Yes, it was.
Okay, and let me tell. And apparently you're a horse rider, is that right?
Yes, I don't do it as much as I'd like to with studying and everything lately, but I do. Yes, I enjoy it.
Okay, is it your own horse?
Well, my family have quite a few, so I switch between all of theirs. But I kind of have like a stake, if you like, in one of my auntie's horses. Okay. And she does polo.
Do you muck out stables?
When I'm at my grandma's house, I always help. Yeah.
Are you a gamer at all? Do you play computer games?
No, I don't.
Okay. Is it Callum? Do you play computer games?
Not for years. No, I used to play Minecraft massive.
Did you?
Yeah.
Not anymore. How come you grew out of it?
I don't know. I just have. A lot of my friends haven't, but
Charlie, do you play games?
I don't. I always used to though. Yeah.
But not so much.
Not
now?
anymore. I don't know what it is, but I just can't. I don't know. I suppose. I don't know, it just doesn't excite me as much as it used to.
Emily, are you a gamer at all? Do you play computer games?
I mean, like, bits and bobs with my siblings at home, but that's because they're younger than me, I suppose. I think it's more aimed at younger people now.
Okay. Jemima, do you play computer games?
I play kind of sometimes, but more, I guess... I play kind of some Minecraft, Mario Kart, things like that.
Not GTA or anything like that?
No, not usually.
Okay. Evella, do you?
I used to play a bit of Minecraft, but we never really had many video games. But I do play quite a lot of mobile games, so just games on a phone, I guess.
And Rosie, are you a gamer?
No, I'm not a gamer.
See, this time last year we had people who play for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, I do play, as Evella said, a lot of mobile games, and that does take up a lot of my screen time. But I used to play Minecraft. I kind of just like the creative aspect of that. Right. But apart from that, not really.
Jemima, what's this thing about the Steam Packet that you're excited about?
So the Steam Packet has a new policy for school trips where instead of, it used to be one person for 10 people, and then I think one additional person for every 10, and now it's one for every 5. Personally, I think this is a really big shame, because I just think it'll make so many school trips not possible. Our year has been quite unlucky due to COVID and the strikes as well, that we only ever had one day school trip, which was great. But in primary school, we got to go on standalone, and my primary school, I went to Doon School, and it was quite a small school, and we had like one-day trips away, which again, with the whole school, which just wouldn't have been possible if this was the policy then.
So what would you say to the Steam Packet?
I'd say, obviously I appreciate that there may be problems, and I was listening to a Mannin Line from the other day, and I think someone was saying how they always got stressed when they were kids running around and things, and I think obviously that's an issue, but maybe, I don't know if it'd be possible, but maybe have a strike system for schools or something, and if they get 2 strikes, they're out, then they have to do it, but give them a chance, because it really is such a great experience, and it's really sad to have it taken away.
Does Ramsey Grammar School, are you aware of, they do school trips and school tours, don't they? Were you saying they're away skiing this year?
Sorry?
Are they skiing?
Oh, yeah. I think year 10s, the year 11s now went skiing last year. We just missed out because we were year 11. I think they went to Italy.
Right.
I think it was Italy.
Okay. Did COVID affect you much, Jemima?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were year 7 when COVID happened. And so it was year 7 and year 8 that were main years affected. I think we were lucky that it didn't affect straight on, exams. However, there was still a little bit of an impact. I think, honestly, the biggest impact for our year, I would say, was more opportunities-wise, things like school trips, also, like school plays and that kind of aspect.
Looking back at COVID, it seems unreal. It seems like a dream, doesn't it? It was weird.
Yeah.
Being kind of locked away or being... What did you do during COVID? Just stay at home?
Yeah, just we had our daily walk, we'd go on. I remember by the second lockdown, when it came around with kind of Teams calls and stuff, I remember I'd wake up just before and eat my breakfast during the first lesson on the Teams call.
Did the technology work?
Most of the time. But I guess it depended on your Wi-Fi and what you
Has COVID affected you academically? Can you say anything?
I think maybe a little, but obviously it's hard to compare because I don't know what it would have been without COVID. I think, year 7 and 8, you don't learn too much stuff that's like super, none of the stuff you learn in year 7 and 8 is actually on GCSE or A-level specifications, but obviously it's skills you need to know. And I think, the teachers did a great job during COVID of what we learned, but I think there were just little bits I think that would have been great if we were in school.
Emily, you mentioned that, COVID changed people. And as I say, looking back, it was weird. I mean, how did you cope? What did you do?
I mean, we took our dogs on walks every day because we have 2 dogs, and I'm quite lucky because there's 5 of us at home. We have houses, whereas 3 people, 2 people be a bit more difficult because there's no social aspect. Yeah. And I know for me personally, I got stuck online trying to texting people all day long, calling people all day long because I'm a very social person. I need other people around me to flourish, I suppose.
You didn't get sick of the same people in the house all the time?
My siblings did my head in a bit, but I think that happens anyway.
But I mean, it was a weird situation. I think we wouldn't have. I mean, to try and imagine it before it happened would have been difficult. So you were saying that you work at the Raven. Yeah. I just want to talk about the misuse of alcohol by young people as well. How much of an issue do you see that?
I mean, I think it would be a bad thing to make it a majority and say that all teenagers are really irresponsible, because I know there's a lot of us who are quite responsible with it. Even with things like after prom, they have it monitored, and I know that it does just get out of hand when adults aren't involved, because you always need somebody there to look after you if it goes wrong, because we all know that it can go wrong. Yeah. And it's knowing your limits as a teenager. And again, how do you, and again, we come back to this point about responsible people who know where the limits are. Yeah. And sometimes there are younger people who haven't got those skills, who don't quite know what they can and can't do. Yeah. So do you think alcohol is too available? It's in every shop now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You can buy it in every shop, and obviously there are some people who will get it from somebody else. Yeah. How much of an issue do you think that is for younger people? I mean, I think it's really about the culture and drinking culture, I suppose. But I think if you're raised with the you get to your teenage years and your parents do you can have a glass of champagne on New Year's sort of thing, then you don't grow up with the idea that once you turn 18 you're going to go crazy with it and you're going to go completely blackout sort of thing. If you're raised with the right type of culture, then the availability shouldn't be as much of an issue. Okay, this is not connected, so I'll go to Callum as well. I just wanted to talk about. We've heard from Emily about the availability of alcohol for young men. I mean, is that a? Do you think there's a misuse of alcohol issue for young men? Well, it's always available. I don't drink, but I'm around people who do, and some people I know do go a bit overboard because I don't know. It's a bit of a social thing. It's kind of social. You're not posturing. A clubber, are you? I'm not a clubber now. No, I'm not a clubber. Anybody in your year a clubber? Are there many people who go clubbing? I wouldn't associate with them. You wouldn't associate with them. Oh, I see. Daisy, final word on alcohol. Then, what's your view on alcohol in young people? Well, I think there are a lot of young people that do use and drink alcohol, and like Callum and Emily said, I think on a regular basis, and I think it does need to be monitored to an extent, because I know people that are under the age of 18 that are going out and are absolutely drinking so much that they're ending up in hospital because they're so young, their bodies can't take it properly. So I think that there needs to be some more regulation into it, but I do think
a lot of teenagers, most teenagers actually do know their limits and are more responsible with it.
And do you think peer pressure comes into that?
I do, yes. I think a lot of people, if you're in a group situation at a party and there is drink there, someone's going to say, oh, go on, take the shot. And if you don't do it, like, you might seem as like a square, or you might seem not like fully with the group, if that makes sense. So peer pressure definitely does come into it.
Interesting. Okay. Rosie as well. Did we mention driving earlier on? Do you drive?
I don't drive, no.
Oh, it's your sister. And your sister didn't drive either.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Jemima, do you drive?
Yeah, I drive. Have
you passed your test?
No, I still have driving lessons.
Okay. How much are they now?
I think between £40 and £50, depending where and when you have them.
Maybe an unfair question. Who pays for them?
Yeah, my parents.
And how many have you had?
I think I've had maybe like 22 or something. So I've had,
You put in for your test yet?
Not yet, but hopefully soonish.
Okay. Emily, do you drive?
I did driving lessons for a while, but I'm quite a busy person, so I didn't really have the time.
You don't cycle, do you?
No.
No? Does anybody here cycle? Nobody cycles.
Cricket.
Nobody's into the active travel stuff. So do you walk?
I mean, I tend to get the bus places.
From where do you live?
Well, I live in Andreas, but my parents will drop me in Ramsey, and then I sort of make my own way from there.
Do you use that dial-a-ride thing at all?
Oh, the Mango buses?
Yes.
Yeah, I do, but it just, since they're like booked around lots of different people, sometimes like I'll book a bus so I can get to Ramsey, so I can get on a bus at 10, but I'll be there like 45 minutes before I need to be there, and then I'm hanging around in Ramsey in the cold and rain for 45 minutes.
What's the public transport like to Andrews?
There is none. I think there's some on a Sunday, and I mean like 3 or 4 possibly, but you have the school bus, but no other buses.
Okay. Do you get to Douglas much?
Yeah, like all of my extracurricular is in Douglas, so.
And you go by bus?
Yeah.
Okay. And when's the last bus back from Douglas to Ramsey?
Oh, late.
Yeah.
Midnight?
Anybody know when's the last
Possibly. It's late. Like, yeah, I think it's midnight. And then they start again at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning, sort of thing, yeah.
Anybody here use public transport? Evella?
Yeah, I use public transport.
From Derby?
Yeah, so only one of my parents can drive, and like they're always at work, and so we'd often get the Mango app, so get the transport from our house to Ramsey, and then take the bus from Ramsey to wherever we need to be.
I'm interested that you don't cycle.
Well, I do cycle sometimes. Like if I'm like, I fancy some exercise today, I get my bike and cycle around.
But you don't.
I don't really cycle to places.
Two places.
Yeah.
You see, the government wants active travel. They say the future is going to be fewer cars and more public transport and more cycling as well. So what would prompt you to cycle?
I'm not sure.
How long would it take to get from Derby to Ramsey on a bike? Have you ever done it?
I haven't. No, I haven't done it. I would assume something like... And it depends how fast you cycle, because competitive cyclers, it could take maybe like half an hour. I'm not even sure if that's like a longer. But yeah, I think it would take quite a long time, I assume, yeah.
And your sister, Rosie, do you cycle?
Again, I don't cycle to get to places. I just cycle as a bit of a hobby.
Around Derby?
Yeah, every now.
You don't go on the run. You don't go on the runway, do you?
No, but sometimes we like cycle to the beach because we're not that far from the beach.
Oh wow!
So yeah.
Now that's a privilege.
Yeah, it is.
That's something else. So Jemima, do you cycle?
Same as the girls, mainly just if I want to for a hobby, but I don't. I'm more. If I was going to do kind of a sport, I'd probably run more than cycle.
You see, older people may say you're the generation that should be cycling. That if active travel is to come about, and you go to places like Amsterdam, everybody cycles. In London, they've got those cycles that you can pick up and drop wherever you want. So I mean, would that work? I mean, the north of the Isle of Man's flat, so you don't need strong legs to get around the north of the Isle of Man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends, where you live and stuff. Because for me, if I used to, in primary school, I used to cycle home from school sometimes after I got my cycling proficiency. But
that's not compulsory, though, is it?
No. If I wanted to cycle to school, I think it would be about 7 miles, maybe. I think it would be a bit long for me. I'm not quite that active. I'm not quite that fit.
Well, for somebody who does jazz dancing and ballet.
Yeah, but it's kind of a different. You obviously need stamina for dancing, and I have a decent stamina. Like when we do cross country, I was quite good at that, but. Cycling's it's a whole different kind of worms. I think it's harder, in my opinion.
Daisy, you ride a horse. Do you ride a bicycle?
I did in lockdown quite a lot. I have done it very occasionally since then with my grandfather.
I'm just interested because, as I say, this is touted as the thing in the future that people will cycle everywhere.
Yes.
There will be no private transport or whatever. Maybe you go on the horse, but cycling everywhere. Do you own a cycle?
I did, and then my dad gave it to my cousin.
Callum, you look like the sort that would cycle everywhere.
No, not really. Well.
Have you got a bike?
No, I don't really have a bike anymore. It's just given to my brother. But like in places like Amsterdam,
yeah,
they have different types of bikes to us that are like more suited to commuters.
Yeah.
Whereas here we have like mountain bikes generally.
Yeah. I mean, do you take my point about the north of the Isle of Man? It's a glacial plain. It's flat. It's not like you're cycling up and down Douglas.
People live in Andreas and Derby. They have to come all the way down to then go all the way back up. Or if people live in like Laxey.
Yeah.
It's quite a long
way.
Well,
believe you me, politicians will be listening to young people talking about cycling because this is a policy for the future. And maybe everybody will get free bicycles. Would you like a free bike, Charlie?
I would love a free bike, personally, yeah.
Do you cycle?
I don't cycle for transport, but I don't know, exercise, recreation.
Have you got a mountain bike?
I don't know what it would be classed as. It's like a hybrid sort of. It's just between a mountain bike and a.
And where do you take it?
Just around Ramsey. I mean, I live in Ramsey, so it's all quite flat. So, yeah.
Do you go bowling?
I don't go bowling. No, I haven't been bowling probably in a year now. Yeah.
I mean, the bowling alley, how long's it been here now? 10 years?
I don't know. It used to be a swimming pool, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
It was the old swimming pool, yeah.
Don't remember that.
Now it's the bowling alley. I think the swimming pool's still there underneath. No water, but it's still there. But is there still much to do? I mean, last time we talked, everybody was doing what you were doing now, which is rolling their eyes and shaking their head.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I would say if I didn't spend so much time indoors, I don't know what else I don't know what you'd do. I don't know.
Well, we talked about it last time and just said, but what do you want? What do you think there should be for young people in Ramsey?
Well, that's the thing as well. I think that because of what lots of teenagers are doing, which is just being on their phones, staying inside, being on their electronics, there isn't much that teenagers want to do, because I feel like lots of people think, oh, well, I've got everything I need on my device.
Well, that's really interesting. So that you think that people are fulfilled in their own company with their own electronics.
But I don't know if that's right, because then the people who aren't, what are they going to do? I don't know.
Again, you're in that difficult situation because you're not really of the generation that will go out to a pub on the lash.
No. I mean, I'm 17, so I'm not going to be. Yeah. I'm not doing that. But I suppose, culturally, people don't do that, do they? Not many young people go out every Friday night.
Emily, do you?
No, I have rehearsals on a Friday night, personally.
For the...
I'm doing the National Theatre Connections programme at Kensington right now, so I'm doing a play and then we perform it here and then we perform it in Scotland, I think, this year.
Well, the Kensington Arts Centre, which is a fantastic place, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really great.
Do you enjoy it there?
I love it there. I love all the people there, and it's so lovely.
Okay, so and what's the group called again?
So this is it's National Theatre Connections, like from the National Theatre from London, organised something. So lots of different smaller organisations around Britain. They dish out new plays that haven't been performed before, and then you perform them at your home, like at your usual drama centre, and then you perform them somewhere else. So I did it in 2023, and I went away to York and performed there. And then
what was the play?
So in 2023, it was a play called Innocent Creatures, which was sort of sci-fi dystopian sort of thing. And then this year it's called Ravers, and it's about kids and trying to socialise without alcohol, and sort of like social acceptance of being nerds. Is
well, that's interesting.
Socialising
without alcohol is, it's a very pertinent subject to what we're talking about now for social facilities for young people in the north of the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And there aren't any.
I mean, I suppose it depends who you are, obviously, because, like Charlie said, a lot of people are very, like, internet focused, and a lot of the things that they like to do are internet focused. But personally, I think what would attract people from being at university and then coming back here would be if not everything was just centred in sort of Douglas, and you didn't have to commute all the way there to just socialise without having to spend loads and loads of money, because now it seems like to do fun activities, especially as a young person who you can't work all the time because you're at school, you have to spend so much money to do these fun things.
Yeah, do you mind me asking how many days do you work at the Raven?
Well, I work a Saturday night and then like a Sunday sort of lunch to mid-afternoon sort of shift.
Okay, and obviously during TT?
Oh yeah, as much as I can during TT. Less so this year, I suppose, because I had GCSE exams, so I sort of had to have like revision time and then like around road closures, all that sort of thing. So that was less so this year, but the last year, but probably this year more.
Okay. Are you a concert type of person? Do you like live concerts? I mean, apart from performing in them, do you go and watch them at all?
I mean, I would do, but there hasn't been any particular people that I've been interested in. Right. I got really upset because I missed the ABBA tribute act because I quite like them.
ABBA?
But, ABBA, yeah. Well, because I'm a bit of a theatre kid, so I quite like Mamma Mia and all that stuff.
My word. Crikey, it's 50-odd years ago that ABBA started.
Well, me and my sister used to be so obsessed with it when we were younger. She'd make us watch it every single night. So.
Your sister used to make you watch it?
Yeah, she's 2 years younger than me.
Right.
But we both absolutely adore.
What's your favourite ABBA song?
I like Waterloo. That's a fun one.
It's the one they won the Eurovision with.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've been with Daisy. We've been with Callum and Charlie and Emily and Jemima and Evella and Rosie. We've been at Ramsey Grammar School today. That's it, by the way. Next week we're going to be live and out and about on Tuesday at Castle Rushen High School, and the week after that at St Ninian's High School, and in March at the QE2 High School. But for today, thanks to Chris Quirk, thanks to Andrew Beasley, I'm Andy Wint. We've been live at Ramsey Grammar School.